Tyler, let's go north of the border right now because we had election results in Canada. Look, very disappointing for those of us who wanted to see better leadership for just about, certainly geographically our most important ally in Canada. This was a country where the Liberal Party was polling at about 20% before Justin Trudeau stepped down. But in a very, what I think, hysterical reaction to the tariff threats and to comments by President Trump, Canada decided to vote in a party they know has been a terrible failure for them. Now, it wasn't a slam dunk victory. The Conservatives have gained a significant number of seats. So the difference between them and the Liberals, the Liberals don't have an outright majority. They're going to have to form a coalition with someone. So all of that is positive. But what isn't positive is we have a globalist guy, this guy Carney, who was never elected anything. They just appointed him prime minister to replace Justin Trudeau. And he was the guy who really ruined a lot of Britain's economy. He was running that globalist economy for a while. This to me is really, listen, I love the little kidding that we're doing about Canada about being a 51st state, but all joking aside, I'm very saddened by these results for the people of Canada, but I guess they kind of deserve it. They needed to have thicker skin about all this stuff with Donald Trump, and they didn't, and they're going to pay dearly.
Yeah, it is a tragedy. I mean, what we're seeing up north with America's northern neighbor has been, I cover in my book, The Woke-topus, the dark money cabal manipulating the federal government, this preference for technocratic government. Many people, when they think of woke, they naturally think of critical race theory, gender ideology, climate alarmism. But that last piece, the preference for technocratic government, is so important. It ties in together what we're talking about when we say, globalist, because a lot of these people are very bureaucratic mindset, very much like we want to follow the hierarchical book because that's the scientific expertise that's going to get us into the future. And, I think President Trump has proven, and, really the Biden administration has proven that that's not the way of the future. And yet Canada, it seems, is doubling down on the very things. I lived through the COVID-19 pandemic, and one of the worst things that happened to us was that my own, my wife's grandmother passed away in Canada before we were able to go visit her because of the strictures of the Canadian border. And now when when the United States wants to strengthen its own borders, wants to, raise tariffs in response to some of the way that these other countries like Canada have been treating us for so long, they can't take it. And suddenly they're having a hissy fit. Meanwhile, I remember Canada had one of the worst crackdowns in COVID-19. And, some of the things we were struggling with in the States, it was far worse up there. And then you actually had the crackdowns on the protesters in the middle of the COVID pandemic. And they actually took away people's bank accounts, their access to their funding in the middle of this. I mean, Canada is one of the worst examples of what could happen to the United States if those who want top-down central control to continue to gain power in this country. And it's really sad to see when the conservatives there had such a chance to win and turn things around that is not happened.
Yeah, just a sad coda there. I hope there's something. I hope there's another end to this story soon.